Fingers crossed this is working now and I'm actually on the right stream. I am a little bit early, so I will be putting up the video that Twisted has put for me while I continue getting ready. More of a test to see if this video will run as I need it to. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? Hope we're all alright. I've come in early, haven't I? I have come in early. Now, I know I started one a minute ago early, and it went to Models and Musings from Monday, and that didn't work. I did that so I could test the backgroundy thing on Streamlabs. Good morning, Graham, and good morning to Twisted as well. You got your next 4 coming today. Well, today we have got issue 39, 5 Wraith Guard. You all know what's happening, don't you? I've got Wraith Guard. I've got Wraith Blades with swords. What I don't have is Wraith Blades with axes and shields. The sound wasn't affected either. Awesome. Well, this is the noisy bit while I have to open all the magazine. So, bear with us a second. We have the magazine. Obviously the important part that we need. But in this one, we actually get all 3 sections of the sprue and all 5 bases to put these together. How fucking za. So, yeah. I've just about clocked over the 5 minutes, so I can say the F word. I had to get an early night last night so I could get up early and do this, because it wasn't for happening if I didn't. So let's see what issue 39 actually gets us. Put my hat on properly first. Okay. So in this one we will be learning how to build our Wraith Guard, how to paint our Wraith Guard, how to collect our Wraith Guard. Well, we've already started that. We've got them here. We've started collecting them. We've got, see? Silly things to put in. Then, for the last section, we've got to play. We've got strategic reserves and terrain cards, and then a Ghost Vanguard scenario at the end. So that means you're going to want us to play with the Wraith Guard. Okay? So let's start with, how on earth do we build these things? Fairly simple. If you get part 1 and glue part 2 into the bottom 5 times, you'll end up with the heads. Why have I got a feeling that none of these heads... See, you would think you'd go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 and just do all 5 across. No. Not in this case. We've got 1, 2 there. And we've got a 1, 2 there. And we've got a 1, 2 there. And we've got a 1, 2 there. And we've got... So... Yeah, we've got lots of... They are scattered all bleeding over the place. All over the place. What have I just knocked off? Sugar, I hope that wasn't a bits box. Well, if it is, there's not much you can do about it right now. So we'll start with part 1 and part 2. Snip all of those out, so that's 10 pieces in total. Although, I have got to say, those heads do look like little fishes. Whether that was their intention, I don't know. But the heads do look like little fishes. Yeah, it is like Where's Wally with plastic sprues. Although, why are you calling Waldo over there? I don't know. Is that because the word Wall is slightly offensive? It's short for Walter as far as I'm aware. So it shouldn't be too bad. I have Mini Laz comes down just after I come in to start doing this, of course. Get a bit of the sanding stick. Get rid of the nubbly bits. Lots of nubbly bits. So how is everyone doing today? I hope we've had a good start to the day or end to the day, depending on your time. some people, let's face it, they're gonna, if you're still up at this time and you're in Australia, it's a late night for you. If you're watching me from UK, it's a reasonable time. And if you're over stateside, then it's really early. Did you shit the bed? Because it's like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning over in the States. I know that much. And that's at the close side. There's a 1. In fact, the 2s look even more like fish. What the bloody Nora? So much so they don't actually stand up, but they do. They look even more like fish. Little fishes. Tails and everything. Well, good luck with that, because yeah, the pain's not good and nausea's not nice. So I hope you feel better soon, Twisted. As you've been through the ringer quite a bit recently. You could do with at least a couple of months break. Could go with a few of us actually. Could do with a couple of months break. Good morning, EB. Oh, you're up ready. Are you up ready for the TT, mate? For anyone who's interested in watching the TT, I believe the Eclectic Beard will be live reacting to it on Kick today. At very soon, I believe. Which will be why he's up now. Getting himself prepped and ready, I should assume. Good idea, but anyone watching me who wishes to go watch him, I know it sounds stupid the fact that I'm telling people to go watch another live streamer, but if you're interested, you're interested. I can't do much about it. All I can do is try and maintain the fact that I'm slightly interesting enough to keep your attention. I hope, anyway. So that's 2 heads clipped out so far. And number 3. And then I've got to figure out the bit that it's going to tell me to do that I don't want to do. Because it's going to want me to put the guns on. Which is fine. I can pull the ones out with guns if needed. I have them. But I want the ones with axes. I like my bludgeoning weapons, if you haven't guessed. Anything that uses pure weight to smash its way through, I'm quite happy with. Don't so much like these finessey, whippy, swordy things. Take too much control, too much precision, too much practice. An axe, just whack, whack, whack. Easy. Even I can do an axe. Could do hammers even better though. Oh yeah, the problem with not using my phone anymore. It can go off. Yeah, I don't do editing. I mean, EB's had years and years of practice now, so that's why he's quite good at it. He's also paying an editor as well now as well, just so he doesn't have to do most of the work himself. He has to do all the recording and stuff and choose what he's reacting to, but somebody to help edit is always a good thing. Because it takes a little bit of the load off. Not all of it, just enough so that you're not ripping your hair out. Oh, there it is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And on single sprue will be number 5, which is these two down here. Compared to me, dude, you're a good editor. And I'll always compare it to me because it's the only thing I can compare it to. So on that note, yeah, you're a good editor. What the Really? 10 past 10 in the morning, people. You know I'm not usually up at this time. Right, bear with me a second while I tell this person to... You didn't get to hear that bit. Good, isn't it? I've just been shouting at an automated message. Like you do. Back to the snipping now that I'm not getting some stupid fucking robot calling me. Hi, I'm calling from TikTok HR. We want you to become a partner. No, you fucking don't. You want me to give you a detail so you can rip off all my accounts. Do one. I'm not that stupid. If you can get settings right so you're not overexposed and things, and you can make it nice and smooth before it goes into the editor, yeah, that's good, because it means you don't have to fuck around too much. I mean, you've still got to clip, snip, put together, remove all the bits you don't want, get your hands under the camera so people can actually see what you're doing, in my case. So it says we need to put the glue on 2. And then slot 1 over the top. Which means you've got to make sure that you have got all the little nubbly bits off the pieces, the number 2s. That doesn't sound good, does it? And then get a number 1 and place it over the top and press it in, and that's when you have 1 Wraith head. Repeat 40 more times. Good morning, Francois. I actually know what that means now, see. I've got a bit of Eddie Hitler going on there, haven't I? Never mind. Can't beat a bit of good bottom, but you can, and some people like it. But bottom is good. Not that type of bottom. I meant the television program with Aid Edmondson and Rip Mail. Not Glutimus Maximus with an anus in the middle. Again, a little bit of glue down the edge of the head number 3. Pop on the top covering. Make sure it's all level at the bottom. And plop it down. Number 4. We have Graham getting his next delivery today. Now, Graham, do you get the premium edition in this one? Do you get the premium delivery for this set, or is that not for a while yet? Mighty quiet. Quiet? I'm quiet? Why am I quiet? Turn that up a bit. Let's see if that works. See, I'm still getting to grips with Streamlabs. And even though it's imported on my OBS settings, it's still different. So there we go, that's better. Good. I don't like not being heard. But then again, I know my voice is annoying as shit, so not being heard is possibly a good thing. But then again, if you can't hear me say cut parts 1 and part 2 out 5 times, then yeah, it doesn't help. So there we go, we've got 5 heads. Now, for the next... sneak peeks there of what's coming next. It's coming soon. We can't be doing that. Next we have 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, which are the back sections, and then 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17, which are all the front sections. These aren't going to be anywhere near each other either, are they? Right, so the first one is 8. Well, we have 9, we have 11, we have 12, we have 10. So that means 8's probably going to be on this one, isn't it? Yes, there it is. Weird little section there with a big bumpy bit. Ah, okay. Not a problem, Twisted. Not a problem. But I do rely on you all to tell me if my volumes are right. Because I can just hear me waffling. Blah, 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 blah. So it's coming. I get it straight from the source. Therefore, I can hear it fine. Sadly. So there we have number 8. Now I know we found 9, 10, 11, and 12 on here earlier. So that's 9. So we have to go looking for the 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 number bits. Oh no, they've got 2 of them right next to each other. Remember, that's 18. Where the friggin' else? I dread to even think. I've got spare Eldar backs by the look of it. Don't know why. But I do. 9. 10. Over here. How many pieces on this? Well, there's piece 67. There's piece 105. 2 of them. Yeah, there's well over 100 pieces on this set, but you don't use them all because there's 3 weapon sets. And I'm only going to be using 1. So this will make 5 models in their entirety. Heads, torsos, legs and weaponry. But you will end up with lots of extra weapons afterwards. In fact, I should probably just go pick out the sprues with the axes on that I've already started pulling apart and using bits of. And then I can keep more sprue in one together and in one piece. Or I can just clip it all out into my... I think I've actually already clipped them out into a tub actually. So they might all be sat in one of the tubs that are next to me, which will mean a lot of rooting through. In that case, I'm just going to clip it out the sprue. Just for the speed of it. Because I don't think everyone wants me to look through a box for bits that I've already got here. So 9, 10, 11. Oh, no, sorry. 8, 9, 11. This one's 10. And then 12's over there. This is going to take a while. And I'll do a bit of a busy afternoon this afternoon. So, I can't quite spend all day doing this. But I can at least put enough time into it to make sure they go together properly. And cover the rest of the magazine. I will not be painting them. Because again, I'm going off my own paint scheme. And now that as far as I'm aware, I've finished getting all the Eldar stuff. And I've just got to convert my Triceratops. Yes, I have a Triceratops for my Eldar. Once I can... So that I'll be moving over to the models I'm using side after this. I do have spare bits for goblins and orcs. Well, you saw one of my tubs. I've got more. So, We'll have a chat about that another time, Twisted. Because that seems, yep, that sounds good. Because I've got 3 Gretchen on him already, and he will be coming off that big oval base. I want him on a big round base. I don't like oval bases. That awkward. So which one was that? That one was 13. Right, now this is confusing me. Am I going to have to clip the other parts out as well, these bits? I think I'm going to have to. I think these bodies are 3-parters. See, I didn't put the last set of Wraith Guards together. I got them pre-put together. I bought them off someone, so they were all assembled when I got them, with a couple of pieces that needed repairing. This is the first time I'm actually building a full set of Wraiths. Yeah, I'm using instructions because I've not done one of these before. The only thing that's getting me through it this quick is my familiarity with Games Workshop sprues, which I suppose is a good thing, that I'm quite familiar with Games Workshop sprues, so I can get through it. But still, it's a bit of a. Certainly, I'm making you bounce around the bloody thing just to find the bits you want, and some of the sprue bits are just ridiculously connected. So 15, 16, 17, which is the last one. Which sounds weird, doing the last one now, even though I've still got another one to go. Let's clip down the back of that because I've realised I'm really supposed to be coming in this way for it. Hopefully it doesn't leave any residue or too much residue, except for that little nubbly bit at the bottom down there, which we're just going to take off now. So I need one more, which will be 14, I believe. Yep. And that's on the single sprue over in this corner. No worries, EB. You have a good day. I hope you have fun watching the TT. And I hope you also get hundreds of viewers for it. If not thousands. You could get thousands. Put up a community post on YouTube. Let people know. Come and get me over on here. And if you can't get over on here, just go in the Discord, click on the link, and it'll take you. As I found out yesterday, you do not need an account to watch. You do need an account to comment, but you don't need an account to watch. So, it's saying we take these, and it goes in like that, see? So it goes in over the top. So I think, yeah, what we're going to have to do is once we've done these, we're going to have to clip out all the backs and glue them on as well. So I'm not going to have spare backs. Oh, damn it. If I get hit in the head with a balloon, don't worry. It's not meant to be malicious. It's just mini Laz playing. Very fun day today. They managed to get most of the week off school because of a burst pipe. So now, so we have, once you've, so that's what you should end up with. Kind of a droney looking thing. And we slip that one on. See, this bit goes quickly. Little splodge of glue. Get the bit that we need. Slot it in there. That gives us the shoulder joints and the big flangey bit around the back. And yes, I know I said that word, but I like the word flange. It sounds good to some people. Other people, not so much. But it sounds good to me. So, tiny bit of glue where the neck's gonna go. Slot it in, and that's what you know. So there we go. We have those 5. Let's move them off there so I can turn the page. Right, so the back bit is actually all just number 18. And it's given us in one single bit there and says get number 18 and do it 5 times. Clip it on and glue it onto the back. I knew I should have just clipped them all out at once. The good thing is they're going to have a piece missing now next to them, so they'll have the front missing next to the back. So it should make it easier to find. And they're all number 18. The joys. So there's a 118. And the other 4 are on this big one. Next to... there's another 18. And 18. Another 18. And things falling off under my desk, which needs sorting. Although Sparkles has convinced somebody to help her clear out the under the stairs section so they can get me hidden away. So that when I'm doing this, I'm not in the middle, well, I'm not in the living room, and I'm in a nice little cupboard somewhere and she can ignore me. So I'm going to be Lazzy Potter soon with my cupboard under the stairs. That's going to be fun. Because it slopes as well, you see. So chances are I'm going to bang my head a fucking lot. Well, no, actually, no, because there's not more space for minis. Because there's less room in that cupboard than there is out here. So, well, kind of there's more room for minis. Minis can stay out here and I can go in there. But I don't think that's what Sparkles has intended or wants to happen. I think she wants to get me and all my models and everything in the cupboard. Which does mean we might have to move a bookcase. Or at least let me use the bookcase for my stuff. It would be nice. So, to do these ones, they want us to go around the edges and not touch the bit where the legs are going to go in. So let's see how easy this is going to be. Oh, simple. That went in really easy. I was expecting it to be more difficult than that, with it being Eldar and them being... I know these are big Eldar essentially, aren't they? These aren't the little namby-pamby spiky-eared ones. These are the ones that have died and gone into a little crystal and now walk around in robots. And in case anyone was wondering what Twisted was on about earlier, he wants me to put a squish Gretchen under his foot there. Because that's what I was kit bashing together the other night. great big whopping bloody arc. But it does allow me to run a Ghazghkull Thwacker, so, or a Lasghkull Thwacker, as I call it, because mine's got hammers. And to be quite, I think mine's better than the Games Workshop one. Yeah, I think it is. That's because, well, I made it, and it didn't cost the price of Ghazghkull Thwacker. I was gifted the Nemesis Dread Knight, which is the basis chassis for it, and I had all the rest of the pieces in already. So when it comes to price, it was a damn sight lot cheaper than the Games Workshop Ghazghkull Thwacker. And knowing that soon I'm going to be getting like boys and orcs to replace some of the bits that I used, I should be alright. That's going to be a fun one when I get the orcs. Because once I've done Eldar, then I'll be moving on to the orcs and the Votan. And orcs are in a shambles at the moment. They are all over the... Well, they're not all over the place. They're in one. I've realised what I knocked over, and it was my orc bits box. I've just noticed it down by my leg. It's not level. It's that angle. Bits don't usually hang in at that angle. I say bits, some of them are full fucking models. It would be a proper example of archiculture. It's definitely a good idea. I've just got to go through and find another grot. Or at least a Gretchen's foot or something's foot that'll go underneath it. Okay, so that's all the backs on. Now we need to clip out where are we up to. So we see here, we've got these fin things that go on the back. Now that's 19, 20, 21, 22 and 23. They all get glued into the little centre section down there on the back. So you can see the little holes for it to go into. That's where that's going to go. Once we find all 5 of them. Right, so that's 20. So let's line these up a bit so we can at least put one with one and have some idea what's happening here. So we have 20, which is here along the top. Would have been right next to where one of the heads were. Oh yeah, my orcs have been raided, scavenged, broke up, smashed up. If I was to go off memory, I've got approximately 20 orc knobs, 60 orc boys, 6 bikes, 5 copters, 2 buggies, 2 war bosses, 3 now with him, and should have a full unit of Gretchen with a runt herd, 2 pain boys. I think that's it. I've not had my orcs out for so long, it is a little bit confusing sometimes. So that was 9. No, that wasn't 19, was it? 19's there. Right on the edge of the sprue. Well, right in the middle of the sprue, actually, next to part 100. That's the other bit. And then we should have another one over here, which is 21. I know I'm not clipping them out in order, but I'm clipping them out in the order that I find them. So it's not in my look. If I started looking for them in the right order, it'll take me even bloody longer. So there should now be 2 on this one. So there's 22 and there's 23. There we go. He's got a big dangly bit on his back. I could have put it a different way, yes I know. But it's still early in the morning. Not that it usually fucking stops me, but yeah. And that should be the 5th and final back finny thing, gimme bob. So to glue these in, we get one of these. Put a little bit of glue down the middle of his back. And then we slot that in right in the back there. So right in the center, it goes in at the back of that little plate thing and goes all the way down to the bottom. I'll show you again. I'll bring it up. Now this will go in right at the back at the top there underneath that little nubby bit, and then it'll come all the way down. See, this goes right in underneath. Makes them look alright so far. Now let's speed up a bit on these ones. This is the difference between just doing it and napping around while doing it. Those 3 took about the same length of time as the others, as one of the others. So there we go. We have those done. Now, okay, now it's going to make us start looking for leg pieces. So we've made all the torsos now. See, all nice and how they want them to be. We've got the heads, which he's not told us to attach yet, so we're not going to. I'm going to try and do it as much in line with the actual instructions as I can. Now they're saying each crotch bit goes with a specific set of legs. So in this case, if we need to find them in order. So we need to find 24, 29 and 30. Of course we do. Okay, so there we have 24, 29 and 30 all in one small area there. That's at least to put them together. That would have been such a pain in the ass to go around having to look for them scattered around sprues. I mean, each set is scattered around, but at least each set is together. So once you found one, the others seem to be right next to it. But 24, 30 and 29. Now these look like they've got nice little square pegs in the legs, so there'll only be, well, 4 ways they can go in, but only one way that'll actually look right. So we get a little dangly bit, and we have the flat bit at the front. Right, 29. Pop a little bit of glue in his hip joint, and then that should only go on one way because it'll fit on the square peg, and square pegs, being square by nature, don't like rotating. So do the same with that one. And once you've glued the legs together, if they actually set right, And we're going to have to leave them there to set for a second. See, he's gone all wonky. He looks like he's... Right, his legs are supposed to be slightly angled, and they're not. There we go. So I'm going to have to glue him to his base, otherwise his legs are all going to get out of kilter and not positioned right. Because he's supposed to be walking forward, not crossing your legs like you're going for a wee. Sir, I need a wee. Can I go to the bathroom? No. Wait till break. Reminds me, I was listening to Bradshaws the other day. And there's going to be many people who don't have a clue what the Bradshaws are. But it's a very old radio program. Yes, you heard me right. I said radio program. From over here in the UK. One person doing all three voices of both of Mum, Dad, and the little boy. And it's hilarious. It is. It is hilarious. So we are like going back into like 70s, 80s. So a lot of things will be different. What they could get away with, for instance, and what they could say and do. About what they could say. But it's a very good program. John Peel. John Peel is awesome. But if you get a chance, check out the Bradshaws. Because it is a radio drama comedy thing. It's not music related, even though it's on the radio. And it has given me a saying that I still use to this day, even though a lot of the time it's out of context because I'm 40 odd now, which is the line, "But my dad said I can, so nah." And anything that lets a kid say that, it's just well worth it. John Peel was probably the best radio DJ. I mean, people go, "Oh no, he's good. No, he just sits there and does what he's told. So does she and him. And this can be any modern DJ. They just sit there and do what they're told. John Peel was probably the only person I'm aware of who played Bohemian Rhapsody in its entirety. All of it. He's also played the same song twice. I can't remember which song it was, but he put it on, he listened to it, he liked it that much, he thought, we'll listen into that again. It's not often you will get DJs doing stuff like that. So you can't do that. We've paid. We've got to promote blah 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 blah. No, that's good. That's not. I'll put good music on. But you'll go from, you'd have the full Bohemian Rhapsody 1 minute, and then you'll have tribal bands that are using just wooden instruments the next. But it's still good. It was still good. And who was the lady that was on before him? Because there was a woman that was on before him who was very, very similar. But she's not there anymore either, so. Next is, we need to find 26. 26. And 26 goes with 33 and 34. Yep. I mean, it's a shame I don't think he's even with us anymore. He's certainly not on the radio, I know that much. But I don't think John Peel's even with us anymore. I know there is a pub dedicated to him in one of the towns not too far from me. Oh no, it's a Robert Peel. Never mind. But there is a pub somewhere. It might be the other way. Just dedicated to him. And then again, you go further in the other direction, you end up in Bolton. And that's where they get things dedicated to, like Fred Dibner and things. Because they've not had now to sing about since Dibner. Which is a shame for Bolton, really, isn't it? Being that shit that the last thing you had was in the 80s. That was Dibner even the 80s, or was technically the 70s? For his television debuts, I mean, rather than him actually doing his work. I know he was a steeplejack throughout the 70s. Back when steeplejacking was a thing. You balance there, please. These legs are not fun. These legs are not fun, and I've still got stuff going ba-ding in my fucking pocket. It better be good. It's Al Graham sending me something. It's alright, it's good. It's good, it's just Al Graham. So now 27, 36 and 35. And for those people who have come late, no, I have not forgotten how to count. This is Games Workshop's method of telling you which pieces to go next. And it might seem like I've forgotten how to count. I really don't like these hip connections. I'd rather it be a triangle and slightly bigger. Just so you can get more purchase on it. And it can sit a little flusher and easier. But we don't really get what we want. So we'll just kind of have to deal with it. Yeah, Warhammer maths. It's like Steiner math. If anyone knows what Steiner math is. Steiner math is the only math where you can end up with 3 halves and just have 1 at the end. In case you know it's impossible, go watch Rick Steiner. Is it Rick or is it Scott? Whichever one classifies as Big Papa Pump. Whichever one had that character. His math is just beyond genius level. And getting legs to hold in place. All the fun things that we have to do. And that's the bit I don't like, is when the model's barely big enough to fit on the bloody base. It gets annoying. And cat hairs get annoying as well. Are we supposed to get new Black Templars soon? New Black Templars? Not that I'd collect Black Templars, so it doesn't really matter too much to me, but I like some of the models. I do like Grimaldus. Not as keen on Helbrecht, because his base is just too busy as far as I'm concerned. Too many things on his base. Got some guy polishing his sword who whereas Grimaldus just has people following him around with books and things. He doesn't have somebody stood right next to him polishing his sword. Ooh, Sparkles has gone missing. So, layer the blobs of glues in the hips. Got one leg that should be slightly bent. Should it? No, that's actually not even, that's just on its toe. Okay, so I'm only going to have one contact point on the base. Oh, happy day. Well, that's just what you want, is minimal contacts for it to try and balance on. Just 1 foot, you know, that's always the fun way of doing things. Right. You're walking forward. They all want crotch drops. So what are the crotch drops? 40, 41, 39, 40 and 41. So why have I got a number 42? That looks like the 41. Well, there's 41. One of them. There's a 40. There's a 39. See, if I have a 42 there, that's pretty much the... Nice, so you're getting a tattoo done to cover up some things. And your friend just happens to do you a trade for it. You paint models, he does a tattoo. I say that's not bad. Personally, I don't have any tattoos. I have no intention of getting any either. But I'm not going to stop other people from getting one. I know plenty of people with them. It's just I don't have any. Right, so Mr. Guy walking forward, which should be you. You want this piece, which is 39. This is your crotch drop, which will go into a little nubbly bit right, literally where his crotch is. So that's his crotch drop. Next one wants a 40. There's a 40. Right up here, see? Long bit there. See, tattoos do serve a purpose, so if you have something like Twisted has put in chat there, then they serve a purpose. This is one of the wide spready leg ones. This is this one, I believe. his little crotch strap goes in there. Because it makes sense, you've got a big, giant, chunking robot. Let's put a bit of cloth in between his legs. Makes sense, doesn't it? Then we need a 41 for the next one, which is right up at the top next to a 46, which looks like another crotch strap thing, but very fancy and slightly more armoured. I know it's going to get us to go looking for the guns in a minute, and this is the bit where it gets confusing and goes, fuck for me. Right, everyone goes on the other one that's leaning in the other direction, which is this chappy. Stay in your base. On your base, please. Do that. Now do that. There we go. So he's back on his base. 40 and 41, but I don't have any more 40s and 41s. I have 43s and I have 42s. See, 42 and 43 look like the same. Look the same type of things that they want me to do. So 42 in this case is going to go on. Right, where's 41 gone? Just so, no, 43. Just so we can check that that one's at least somewhat right. Oh, where's it gone? Let's see, there's 42. I have no more 40s or 41s. So they can all go off. 42, is 43 on here? Yeah, 43's there, right next to the swords. So remember that 43 is next to the swords, and that's the one that's going to go in the one with your legs closer together. So if you are putting this together yourself, and it tells you to put 40s and 41s on, you don't have enough. You've got to go looking for a 42 and a 43. And if you wouldn't, if you've never put these screws, these sprues, if you never worked with these sprues before, then you wouldn't necessarily know to go find similar looking parts because they've mislabeled them in the magazine. Oh, he's taking a full power stance, this one, isn't he? Plastic glue is not supposed to stick to humans. Yes, I claim to be human. It makes things a lot easier. Everybody needs a curtain. Everybody needs a curtain for their arms on. Everyone needs a curtain. See, sleeves can be good, but they've got to be done well. Otherwise, they don't look good. So I'm looking forward to seeing yours twisted. Because if the people you're going to is half as skilled as you, then it should look fine. And then the final crotch strap. There we go. So now we have the legs done. I knew it. I knew it. The next section is going to want you to do is the arms with the guns. And the arms with the guns are 49 and 51 go together, 52 and 54 go together, 55 and 57 go together, 58 and 60 go together, 61 and 63 go together. As I've already stated, I'm ignoring that. And I want 5 axes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means then I've got to find the hands and arms and stuff to go with it. Boop, boop. That's 1. So if you're doing the axes, it's 76, 7, 8. Oh, sorry, 75, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the axes, and they're all clumped in a nice little area together. So you could do 1 there, and then the other 4 are all there. Some people are going to say, well, why are you putting axes on? I have the guns, the D-sides. I have the swords, which give you extra attacks at a lower strength. And the axes are a higher strength attack, but with an invulnerable save shield. So I can do a bit of everything. A bit of everything. Because if I need something to be able to run up and fight Lasgulth Whacker, there's not much in the Eldar list that can do it apart from these and my Wraith Lord. So getting these is definitely a good idea. Right, all these are right arms. Means I've got to go looking for right arms. And the first one I clip out isn't even on the page, it's 65. But then again, it is an axe arm that I'm looking for, not a gun blade, so. Oh, a gun arm. So a little bit of glue on the wrist. Hold the axe in place. See, it doesn't help that these constructs only have 3 fingers. See, I'm not too bad. My curtains are behind me. I'm alright with that, Twisted. I have curtains behind me. I just close them and no one can see. That way I don't need a tattoo. I can just hide. Leave me alone! Go away, wolf! Oh, come on, just set. It's dug into my finger, which didn't help. So this plastic glue does actually melt one side. Well, it actually melts both sides and causes a permanent bond. But it's a little bit finicky sometimes. And that's a left arm. That's a right arm. After we've done the arms, everything else will go on as normal. Heads, essentially, and torsos. but I need to do the arms first. That's the amount of right arms plus the amount of axes. So that's 5 right arms plus axes, and then little bits to go on the back of them. Oh no, these don't need little bits to go on the back of them. It's the other side that needs the little bits to go on the back of them, because they have the shield section. I'll hold this until it's got some kind of purchase or melted property on it. So it's going to hold like so. That's a left arm, that's a left arm, that's a left arm. 68. 68 is a right arm. Good morning, Buzzard. How you doing, man? I'm hoping the few issues you had last time we spoke have been resolved. And resolved amicably. Fingers crossed you've not had to set fire to anyone or blow anyone up or run them over or cause grievous harm to anyone. We don't want to see that. We'd like to see our Buzzard back in with us, chatting, having his nice days, not killing people. I'm not saying you will kill people, so if anyone's picking up on this and watching it on YouTube, I'm not saying Buzzard's done illegal things. I'm just saying he was having a bit of a stressful time, and yeah, most of us wouldn't have begrudged him running a couple of cunts over. I need more right arms. That's the left. That's the left. There's a right. I've got to go looking for specific lefts yet. Oh, it's going to be fun. Let's get these axes paired up first. That way at least they're done and ready. Get that glued in and held, hopefully. This is where pinning would come in really handy, but I didn't get my Dremel out and I didn't get any pins ready, so oops. The skull tip, what? Skull? Have I missed something, Twisted? Have I took a left when everyone else has took a right? Wouldn't be the first time. Definitely would not be the first time that I've gone left when everyone else has gone right. Left, 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 left. I forgot to look on here, didn't I? Right. So they do have multiples of lefts and rights for shields and swords. So all the swords will be handless like the axe ones. But the lefts will be handless for the swords. For the swords, and then the ones with the shields will have a hand on them. So that's that half. So now I'm looking for all the lefts with hands. There's one. That's it for that sprue. 2. And what number was that one? That one was 56. Yeah, it's not available there. That's good. 56. 101. And gets us another shield there. And we've got 3 so far. 50. Got that there. And I should have one more. Just the one. There it is. And it is number 97. Ooh, ebony with a silver skull. That's nice, that. I mean, I do have a silver cane. Although, of course, it's not like it's a solid silver cane. It'll cost a fucking fortune. But I do have a silver cane. Problem is the rubber's gone at the bottom of it. So, I'm going to have to get that redone. I'll find a new rubber for it. Because it needs a metal plate in the bottom as well. Right, now we're clipping out shields. So in this case it's 104. 96. These look like big dock-off blades, but they're not. They're energy shields. 104, 96, 100, and 102. Snip, 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 snip. And now we need the last one, which I think will be another sprue, I hope. Yes, there we are. And it is 98 on the single sprue. So this is all fun and games. I'm the only one who uses one, and it's very rare that I actually have to use it. So, yeah, we don't keep them around very often. Right, so that's the one with the bigger dimple. Where's the one with the big dimple missing? Or am I trying to put it in the wrong way? I'm trying to put it in the wrong way. There we go. Right. So, in this little section of the arm here, you'll see there's a little groove. Pop a little bit of glue in there. Then you get one of the shields. You find the line bit on the back, and the fancy bit will go on top. And it's got a little nubbly bit that will slot in, and it'll come out looking something like this. Might not be exact, you might not have used the same piece on the same arm as I did, so something like that is close enough. And that'll all go on the left, because in the 41st millennium, every fucker's right-handed. Even the fucking constructs. And little spots of glue in fact, I should probably zoom in with this, shouldn't I? It would help. There we go. A little spot of glue. And then a shield in the arm. As soon as I zoom in to do it, it decides not to do it. And then, yeah, you end up with that. So that's 4. And number 5. Which completely screws up all the instructions that they've given me now. I know you're supposed to follow the instructions that they give you on the screen, but yeah, I'm me, and I don't do things the way they want me to. So now we're going to get the bodies, put some glue in the bottom of the body, and slot it onto the legs, and move it the fuck out of the way. Go through, repeat 5 times. Then by the time hopefully you come back to the first one, it's dried. Yeah, they are definitely guidelines, but there will be people who have never done this before. So if you've never done it and you want to build the actual unit they've given you, please follow the actual instructions. If you're comfortable enough to go, nah, I don't need them that much, then by all means do as I have done and make the unit you want, not the unit they want you to make. Because you may not want Wraith Guard, you may want Wraith Blades. Shit, you may not even want any Wraiths at all. In which case, don't put them together, you can probably get money for them on eBay. Alright, let's get the heads on. And then we can start with the worrying bit of doing the arms. No, that'll do. I mean, slowly they are going to all get heads on. So, little blob of glue in the recessy section. Get your next model. Realise you probably could have done better putting it together. Now you're going to have to get some green stuff. Oh, is he well? Accidents happen. They're not too bad. Just out of curiosity, have all these been... Yes, they have. I've got 5 to do that. Well, yeah, I've got 5 to try and make not look like wing primes and turn them into warriors with melee weapons. I hope most of my stuff has melee for Tyranids, so I'd like to try and keep it all in the same vein. Obviously some stuff has ranged weapons, but the biggest threat for my Tyranid army is to run up to you and go nom nom nom. Okay. Now then, now we need to position arms. I don't like this bit. I really don't like this bit. See, I'm going to leave that there now until it's contacted. Now his wrist has started to twist. Oh, god dang it. Right, hold his arm. Now hold his arm in place. Nope. Okay. For purpose of this video, I'm stopping here because not all the glue's dried. And I'm going to have to redo the hands on some of them. Yeah, I have one of them, come on, type. So I've made axes and shields to go on each one, which I'm going to glue on later on tonight because they're not working at the minute. So I'm just going to pair them all up so everybody has an axe and a shield. And then once the glue's actually cured properly, I can glue them back on tonight. I don't want to be taking up too much time just waiting for glue to dry. So slide them out of the way. If you followed their instructions, all yours will start looking like this. And they'll have big double guns on them. Where's me zooming out a bit again? There we are. So yeah, all yours will start looking like that. If you've done it the way I've done, they'll have melee weapons. So how do they want you to paint these Wraithguard? Mine are all going to be basically a very dark blue with an orange head, with some glowy bits done from the bright jade. These, however, want you to paint the entire thing Mephisto red. Come back, do the weapons, the piping, and any vent parts in Abaddon black. Also the small section down the back of his head. So they've got little ridges, as you would have noticed, down the backs of the heads underneath the helmet there. See, they want you to do that bit in black as well. Then the actual front of the helmet, they want you to do it in Korax white. And then they're going to come in and have you do some detaily bits with the Retributor armor. So the symbol, the logo thing on the chest, the little knobbly bits at the top of the crotch straps. See little tiny little knobbly bits up there, and that's the crotch strap. Then do the actual crotch strap itself in Screamer pink, both front and back. And then you're going to Agrax Earthshade all the red areas. Null Oil the crotch strap, and then Reichland Flesh any of the gold sections. And if you followed all their instructions and did it just like they did, you will not have something that looks like this, because they've actually painted it properly and used two thin coats and got nice even coverage, and the way they told you to do it was shit. But you'll have something along the lines of these chaps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All with guns if you've built in with them. As I said, mine are going to have axes and shields. Wraithguard. So we actually get onto the usual naming and type of unit that they are. So Wraithguard are elite Wraithbone constructs. In times of dire threat, their forms are imbued with the spirits of fallen Eldari warriors, allowing these souls to fight on, even after death. In battle, they march stolidly towards the enemy, delivering lethal salvos of their powerful wraith cannons as they do so. Mine don't. Again, he's going to want you to roll a d6. If you get a 1 or a 2, this unit of Wraithguard has been awakened to fight a new and deadly threat that has come to menace their craft world. Okay, yeah, usually how they work, they get woke up when they need to fight. If you get 3 or 4, this unit of Wraithguard is animated by the souls of great warriors who fought together in life as they now do in death. So you actually get a unit that knew each other when they were alive. Interesting little backstory for them. And if you roll a 5 or a 6, this unit of Wraithguard is known for holding back a Tyranid onslaught when the craft world was unexpectedly ambushed. So if you get a 5 or a 6 there, okay. And now it's going to give us a data sheet, and it's not going to cover a damn thing that I've put on them. Right. As I said, I do have the Wraith cannons built already, which is why I didn't build these. Standard stat line for on combat patrol for a Wraithguard: you have a movement of 6, a toughness of 6, which is pretty damn tough, save of 2+. My axe guys will also get a 4+ invul save, 3 wounds, so they're not going down too easily. Leadership of 8, No, a unit of Wraith Guard known for holding back a Tyranid onslaught when the craft world was unexpectedly ambushed. It didn't say Samhan or Eandon. He just said somebody was attacked by craft world. But then again, is Sanhan the red colour scheme? If Sanhan's the red colour scheme, then yeah, they fucked up there, aren't they? They fucked up pretty badly. Know your law, Hachette. Know your law. Come on. We do. You should. I say we as a collective because you lot all know everything I don't, which is great. Alright, so they are painted as Samhan. So, right. So 5 and 6 is complete bullshit. As Francois has very kindly pointed out, it was Eandon that was attacked by the Tyranids. And you don't paint them in that colour scheme. See. So, not bad, just that's wrong for the colour scheme if you want me to fight off Tyranids. If you want me to fight off Tyranids, then yeah, you want the Eandon, which is a completely different colour scheme. Not even the one that I'm doing either. So, yeah. They fucked up already. I mean, half the fucking numbers were wrong, in fairness. So let's see what the weapons do. If you've equipped them with the Wraith Cannon. So range 18. It's not bad. 1 attack. So you've got, and hitting on 4 pluses. So it's a 50-50 chance you're hitting in the first fucking place and you've only got 5 shots from a full unit. Strength 14? Holy shit. Okay, so that's wounding most things. Oh, so it's a yellow and blue. Right, so the yellow and blue one. So it'd be yellow armor, blue head. If you wanted to do the Tyranid killers. -4 AP on that Wraith Cannon as well. It is going through armor. Unless they've got an invul save, they ain't getting... Not much is saving off that. And it's D6 plus 1 damage. So, very elite killy. Very, very elite killy. And very, very tank killy. The melee weapons for these are very basic. It's just strength 5, no AP, 1 damage, 3 attacks each. Because they're expecting you to punch, punch, punch. The axes, as far as I'm aware, are strength 9, -3 AP, 2 damage. And it's 3 attacks each as well. So it's a stronger attack, more AP, more damage, but no ranged weapons, which doesn't help. Yeah, we're moving through this one. So we're up to the play section now, and we're on for Core Rules 13, Strategic Reserves. I've got to figure out how to flip this. Strategic Reserves are forces that one or both players have chosen not to deploy at the start of the battle. These rules explain how to place the units into Strategic Reserve, as well as how and when they arrive on the battlefield. Fair enough. These rules let you place units into Strategic Reserve, a special type of reserves that you can use to keep units off the battlefield until you require them. Unless you need them on turn 1, in which case you're fucked. Note that while all Strategic Reserves are also technically reserves units, the reserves is not true, and so these rules do not apply to units that are using other rules that enable them to start the battle in reserves. Example, like Deep Strike. Such units are instead set up as described by those other rules. So placing units into Strategic Reserves before the battle, when you are instructed to declare battle formations, you can select one or more units from your army to be placed into Strategic Reserves, excluding fortifications. Yeah, you can't just drop a building halfway down through the battle, sadly. It would have been nice just to go, where's your big unit of Terminators? Yeah, I'm just going to drop that bastion on top of it and just crush them. You can't do that. It would be fun, though. The combined points value of all the units you wish to place in Strategic Reserve before the battle, including those embarked within transport models that are themselves placed in Strategic Reserve. So including the vehicles that they're in. You cannot exceed 25% of your total points limit for your chosen battle size, as shown below. So if you're playing a small 1000 250 points is how much you can get in. If you're doing a 2,000, then it's 500, and if you're doing a 3,000, then it's 750. Arriving from strategic reserves. Units that are placed into strategic reserve are called strategic reserves units. For fuck's sake. How many times do you want me to take strategic reserves in one sentence? And can later arrive on the battle during the reinforcement steps of your movement phase, except during the first battle round. Unless you have someone who can circumnavigate that rule, like Logan Grimnar. Any strategic reserves that are not on the battlefield by the end of the battle are counted as destroyed. Yeah, so if they don't make it to the battlefield, they're dead. That's straightforward. So how to actually set them up. During the second battle round, strategic reserves that arrive must be set up wholly within 6 inches of any battlefield edge. No model in those units can be set up within the enemy deployment zone. Starting from the third battle round, strategic reserves that arrive must be set up wholly within 6 inches of any battlefield edge, but can be in the enemy deployment zone. Now that's a lie as well, because if you're using deep strike, you can land in the middle of the fucking board as long as you're 9 inches away from anything. Yeah. In any case, strategic reserves cannot be set up within 9 inches horizontally of enemy models. All other rules that apply when setting up reserve units also apply when setting up strategic reserve units, except for if you're using deep strike, which allows you to teleport into the fucking battle. If you're gonna give us the example of deep striking, then tell us the rules for the deep striking. Deep striking unit does not have to stay within 6 inches of the edge. It can arrive in the fucking middle of the board as long as there's nothing there. Knobheads. So yeah, they've just lied to us again. So not only are they telling us the wrong fucking colours for the Tyranid killers, they're telling us the wrong rules for strategic reserves. If you've got something like not Scout, there are others that will allow you to, older rules like Outflank, and anyone just coming in from just normal reserves comes in, 6 inches from the board edge. That's fine. But if you're going to use deep strike, at least get the deep strike rules right. Terrain features. Enough of the rant for that one. Battlefields are populated with terrain features that your models will need to move over and around, and which can partially or fully block line of sight between models. The rules on the following pages apply to most common terrain features in the battlefields of the 41st millennium. Unless otherwise stated, models can move up, over, and down terrain features following the normal rules for movement, but you have to pay. If it's over so high, you have to pay for it in movement distance. Many terrain features follow the normal rules for determining visibility between models, but some interact differently. In either case, it is stated on the following pages. Terrain features cannot be selected as the target of an attack unless you've taken a fortification as part of your army. Don't mention that bit, did they? Told us we can't deep strike fortifications, didn't tell us naff all about taking them as part of our army so you can target the damn things. Benefits of cover. Models can sometimes gain a measure of protection from terrain features. The rules are on pages 45 through 48. Detail the conditions under which the terrain feature confers the benefit of cover. If you can't see all the model, then it gets cover. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model that has the benefit of cover, add 1 to the saving throw made for that attack, excluding invulnerable saves. Invulnerable saves cannot be modified in any way, shape or form. They've already covered that. I'm sure they think we're fucking stupid. Well, at least that's the way it comes across to me. So, models with a saving characteristic of 3+ or better cannot have the benefit of cover against attacks with an armor penetration characteristic of 0. Multiple instances of benefit of cover are not cumulative. A model cannot benefit from this rule more than once at any one time. So if you've already got good armor and they've not got AP, you don't get cover. But if you've got shit armor and they don't have AP, you do get cover. So Space Marines can't go to a 2+, but anything on a 4+ can go to a 3. It's a bit shit, isn't it? So examples. So we have craters and rubble. Bring that a bit closer. So essentially bombed out craters. Models can move over this terrain feature as described on page 15, which is pretty much normally. Normal visibility rules apply. Each time an attack is allocated to an infantry model that is wholly on top of the terrain feature, that model has the benefit of cover. Barricades and fuel pipes. Again, models can move up, over and down this terrain feature, but they cannot be set up on top of it. Again, normal visibility rules apply. If it's obscuring your model, then it gets the cover. Engagement range. Now this is a different one. In the charge phase, if an enemy unit is within 1 inch of this terrain feature, a charging unit on the opposite side of the terrain feature can still make a charge move against that enemy unit, provided it ends the charge move as close as possible to this terrain feature and within 2 inches of the enemy model. So if they're stood behind that thinking, haha, that's an inch wide, you can't get to me. No, that's an inch wide. I've now got 2 inches because you're stood behind a fucking pipe, you dickhead. I can still get to you. Nice. I like that. In the fight phase, units are eligible to fight and models can make attacks if their target is on the opposite side of the terrain feature and within 2 inches of them. So it's not even a base-to-base contact thing then. It's as long as they're on the other side of that pipe or barricade and they're within 2 inches, you get to attack. So what actual benefit of cover do you get from these if people can still run up and twat you? Each time a ranged attack is allocated to an infantry model that is wholly within 3 inches of this terrain feature, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of this terrain feature, that model has cover. Oh, they don't blow up anymore. Oh, that's a shame. I liked it when they blew up. Battlefield debris and statuary. So models can move up, over and down these terrain features, but they cannot be set up on top of it again. Again, if it gets in the way of the line of sight, to get the cover. The benefit of cover, each time a ranged attack target is allocated to a model, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit, it gets cover. A lot of these are just going to end with, if you can't fully see it, it gets cover when you're shooting, which is fair enough. Then we have hills, industrial structures, sealed buildings and armoured containers. These terrain features are raised areas that models can be set up on top of or end their move on top of, provided the model's base does not overhang the terrain feature. If the model does not have a base, no part of that model that would be in contact with the battlefield at ground level can be overhanging the terrain feature. That's for things like stompers, where they're too big to have bases. You can actually get them on top of a building, they can physically fit. And hills. A stomper can walk up a hill. Visibility is the normal visibility rules. If it blocks a little bit, then he's getting cover. And again, for the benefit of cover, ranged attacks only. And if it's not fully visible, it gets to add that +1 unless its armor's too fucking good. That's a bit of a dodgy one for me, that. The fact that Space Marines can't get it just because they've got good armour. I mean, even if someone with good armour is stood behind a brick fucking wall and the bullet hits a brick fucking wall, you should still get it. That's really nasty. It's just favouritism. Ooh, now we have the bit of terrain that I've never actually used. Woods and forests. They have a footprint. When this terrain feature is set up on the battlefield, both players must agree upon its footprint. That is the boundary of the terrain feature at the ground level. This is so that players know when a model is wholly within the terrain feature. If this terrain feature is mounted on a base, then this will define its footprint. Yeah, easy enough. So if you're putting little walls down, you've got to define, like, you've got to be in that side or that side or that side of it to get into it. So in this case, you've got to be inside that little ring. And if you stood out of it, then you're not getting the cover. Anywhere you stood out of it, you're not getting the cover. So he's not getting any, he's not getting any, he's not getting any. They do off them, but not off them. Models can move over this terrain as described earlier on. Basically just move through it. Visibility. Models and units that are wholly within this terrain feature are never considered to be fully visible to an observing model. Similarly, that word that I can't say. If a model that is not wholly within the terrain feature must look through or over this terrain feature in order to draw its line of sight to other models, then that other model is never considered to be fully visible either. And so they will both have the benefit of cover from this terrain. Aircraft and towering models are exceptions to this. Visibility to and from such models is determined normally, even if this terrain feature is wholly in between them and the observing model. Models that are wholly within this terrain feature can see out of it normally. So how that converts into whether or not you get cover. Each time a ranged attack, again, is allocated to a model, if that model is either wholly within this terrain feature or it is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of this terrain feature, it has cover. So a +1 to your armor save, unless you've got good fucking armor in the first place, in which, and no AP. Really annoying, that. Ruins. Now ruins are pretty much the staple terrain for 40k battles. They do have a footprint, so you'll have to define it usually with the other corner section of the wall, so you know which square section it's going to be in. You also get a rule called plunging fire. Now because ruins you can stack up and you can end up being quite tall. Each time a model that is wholly within this terrain feature makes a ranged attack, if that model is 6 inches or more vertically from ground level, and every model in the unit is up there as well, you get to improve the AP by 1. So basically you're building up a kill zone for yourself, so you can shoot down at them. It'll increase your armor penetration. For movement, infantry and beast models can move through this terrain feature as if it were not there. A model cannot end a move within a wall so yeah, you can't stop halfway through a wall, you can't stop halfway up a floor. You've got to be able to make it on the other side or all the way up. Infantry, beasts and fly models can be set up or end their move on any floor level of this terrain, but if that level is not the ground floor, such models can only do so if their bases does not overhang the floor at that level. If a model does not have a base, then whatever's on the ground level can't overhang either. All other models can be set up or end their move on the ground floor of this terrain feature. So things like Hellbrutes, they can go through in the ground level. They just can't climb up. But standard infantry, beasts, and models that can fly can. For visibility, models cannot see over or through this terrain feature. I.e., a unit outside this terrain feature cannot draw a line of sight on the other side of it, even if it would be possible to draw a line of sight to the target through open windows, doors, etc. Aircraft and towering models are the exception to this. Visibility to and from such models is determined normally. So if you can physically see it, but it's being obscured, it gets cover. If you can see it and it's not being obscured, it doesn't. But that's only for flying and towering models. And that's even if this terrain feature is wholly in between them and the observing model. Models can see into this terrain feature normally, and models that are wholly within this terrain feature can see out of it normally. but you can't see through it. Got you. So each time an attack, a ranged attack is allocated to a model, if that model is either wholly within this terrain feature or not fully visible, then it gains the benefit of cover again. So all that resulted in, if you can't see everything, it gets cover. Simple. Very simple. So we have terrain cards. Now we do have a couple of different, I think we actually have some more terrain cards here today. Yes, we do. We have some terrain cards. We have data cards. Ooh, we've got some arc ones as well. That should be fun. So, setting up terrain. Sometimes the rules of a game may tell you to select pieces of terrain to add to the battlefield. You can choose whichever piece you like most, or if you prefer, you can use the table below to randomly select a piece instead. So that asks you to roll a d3. Let's bring it up to the camera, even though it's backwards. If you roll a 1, it's debris. If you roll a 2, it's crater, and you roll a 3, it's barricade. So it's showing you the cards that it has for different types of terrain it's given us in the past on cards, just like these ones, which are going to be craters. And in this case, pretty much as long as you've got that in between you and your enemy, if they're shooting, you get cover. That's how simple that is. So I've got a feeling we're going to be getting quite a few more cards soon, because it's giving me stuff that I don't recognise. So craters and rubble, which is kind of like what it's just given us there, and then barricades and fuel pipes. So those are what the cards will look like. Actually, did they come with the Wraith Guard? Because if they did, I won't be getting them. But we have cards available to represent terrain, and on some side of it, they do actually put the ring around it to show you where the edges are. It's like once you're inside that section, then you're in the terrain. So scenario 25. Yeah, scenario 25, Ghost Vanguard. This is going towards the end. This is the last section of the magazine at the minute. To play Chaotic Ambush, set up your battlefield as shown below. Then follow the deployment instructions. The Eldari player takes 5 Wraith Guard, 10 Guardian Defenders with 1 heavy weapons platform, 3 Wind Riders and 1 Farseer. The Chaos Space Marine player takes 10 Legionaries, 5 Havocs, the Dark Apostle, and the Dark Apostle with 2 Disciples. And we have 2 Eldari deployment zones and 1 Chaos Space Marine zone. And we have 3 objectives. 1 right on the edge of the Chaos Zone, 2 on the edge of Deployment Zone 2 for the Eldari. Naff all over there, but we do have terrain deployment. So for deployment, the Chaos Space Marine player places their units in their deployment zone. The Eldari player deploys their Wraith Guard in Eldari Deployment Zone 1, and their remaining units in either or both of the other 2 Eldari deployment zones, which, so, them. How to win. At the end of each player's command phase, players score victory points as follows. If they control 1 or more objective marker, they score 5 victory points. If they control more markers than their opponent, they score another 5. The player with the highest number of victory points at the end of the 5th battle round is the winner. If both players have equal victory points, the battle is a draw. For the remainder of the rules for a reminder of the rules of controlling objectives, see B, Basics Part 8. You've got to be within 3 inches of it, and you need to have a higher OC than your opponent, and ideally not be contested. So they're asking you just to play through that mission. It tells you how to just deploy, but from there it's all down to you. All the movement, so command phase, movement, shooting, charge, and fight, all made decisions by you and where you want to move them. So they're actually giving you 2 full combat patrols, 2 combat patrols, and going, that's it. Go on. They've tinkered around with the deployment a bit, but That's the basis of it. Just have at it and off you go. Next two units. Next two issues. Now we know the next issue we're getting 5 Terminators for the finish off the chaos. Then we start on a new combat patrol, and we end up with a war boss in mega armor. He will be losing that grot from the top. That grot is going on there. Complain if you want. He's losing that grot. I'll strap a big shooter to him somewhere else, but he's losing that grot. Now that's the magazine, what else did we get in this? So we have quick reference guides for stratagems. So insane bravery, grenade, tank shot, command reroll, counter offensive, epic challenge, rapid ingress, fire overwatch, go to ground, smoke screen, and heroic intervention, which we covered last time, as well as 2 new scenery pieces for us to use, or scenery cards for us to use, should I say. On this sheet, we actually have 3 of them. So on this sheet, we have a quick reference guide for the Eldari Wraith guard. That you might have just built that in that method I've built with the axes. We also get the quick reference card for the Chaos Terminators that we'll be getting next week. So let's see, what are they going to ask us to build these with? Most of them are going to have combi bolters, which is a rapid fire 2 weapon. Already gets 2 attacks, 24-inch range, so that's 4 attacks at 12. So that's not too bad. No AP, strength 4, 1 damage. Light infantry clearing. We also get at least 1 Reaper autocannon, which is going to have the devastating wounds rule and sustained hits 1. So any 6s on your hit rolls is going to get you more hits. So 36-inch range, 4 attacks. So you've got a good chance of getting that 6. Hits on 3s, strength 7, so it's not too bad, especially for heavier infantry. Wounding the Wraith Guards on 3s, which will be good. Minus 1 AP and 1 damage. But that devastating wounds can help get past that AP more. They do have some nice melee weapons with power fists and chain fists, both hitting at strength 8, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. The chain fist having anti-vehicle 3+. Or accursed weapons, which are more of the axes and swords. Those are 4 attacks hitting on 3s, strength 5, minus 2 AP and 1 damage. We also get the faction Dark Pacts, and that's what it's going to give us here. So the basic Dark Pacts, quick reference there, as well as the enhancements, the basic one or the optional one. And then on the other side we have Empiric Rights, Bitter Blows, and Malicious Volleys, which are specific stratagems for chaos, as well as default secondary objectives and optional secondary objectives. Nice. This one's Oaks. Sorry. So we've got the quick reference cards for the War Boss in Mega Armor, Standard Boys, Death Copters, and a Death Dread. So the one we're getting first will be the War Boss in Mega Armor. Now his movement is 5, toughness 6, 2+ save with a 5+ invulnerable save, and he has 7 wounds. He is a tough cookie to crack. He comes with a big shooter, which is rapid fire 2, range 36, so he's getting that at 18, strength 5, no AP, but 3 attacks. Not bad. He actually hits on 4s, but that's because the little Gretchen's shooting through. But his melee weapon is called a huge chopper. You get 4 attacks, he hits on 2s, strength 12, minus 2 AP and 2 damage. He also gets a special rule for the Orcs special rule. Now the Orcs have a special rule called War. Once you call that, it lasts for 2 turns. And when you call it with the War Boss in Mega Armor, until the start of the next battle round, this model has a Feel No Pain 4+ ability. So he's got a good chance of shrugging off wounds. As we go through these, I'll go through the rest of them. Death Copter's been one of my favourite units because they've got copter rockets and they just blow the shit out of most things. And boys are just boys. They are the grunts. They are the charge forward, clog up your guns. But we will be getting them, not next week, because next week's issue 40. Issue 41 we'll be getting the War Boss in Mega Armor. Whew. That's a nice 2-hour stream, that, wasn't it? I think I covered everything. If there's anything you want me to go over again, please put it in the comment section. If you've liked these, please hit the like and subscribe as well, because then you can come back and see me again, and I'd love to see all of you again. I'll be back tomorrow night with the Magical World of Sparkles and Oak. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing on that yet, because I'm partway through with basing and partway through with models and I'm partway through with landscaping, so it's got to be one of them, but I think I'll probably work on the sea level first tomorrow night. But that's tomorrow. This is Combat Patrol. I will put the shields and axes on to the Wraith Guard later on, once they're actually set properly and they're not going to fall apart. It's always a nice thing. And so we've got Terminator to do it all again with next week. Wraith Guard to finish off, and then I can transfer them to Models and Musings and to paint them. I feel like I've forgotten something, but I don't think I have, which is odd for me. So with that, thank you all for joining me. Please drive safe and enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.